Hoosiers love their cars, but cars are not the healthiest form of personal transportation, nor the best environmental choice. May 14th through May 19th is National Bike to Work Week. Bike to Work Week promotes bicycle commuting, a healthy and environmentally friendly lifestyle. A growing number of people in our area bike to work as often as they can, and they love it. GreenTV talks to enthusiastic bicycle commuters at the Bike to Work Week kickoff in downtown South Bend. The kickoff started on a drizzly Monday morning, May 15th. Organizers and volunteers from Paint the Town Coalition arrived early. A morning TV news crew showed up to do an interview. A Pop 40 radio station sent a representative too.
We have Radio U93 showed up. Well, he's right down there, and he's going to ride his bike to work. Real long way, he said. He's got to go up to Bendix and Cleveland.
So you work at the radio station here?
Yeah.
What station?
U93, my name's Opie. I know. So I'm going to put this radio on my back here and take off.
World Football Hall of Fame National Ride Your Bike to Work Week. We've got donuts. People are giving away 5 blocks. I didn't win the 5 blocks. It's kind of upsetting, but I think it's kind of time for me to go, don't you think?
You're going to ride your bike from downtown South Bend all the way to the U93 radio station, Cleveland Road, kind of by the airport.
Yeah, and I'm all the way downtown right now. So, I mean, I'm in the heart of South Bend.
Do you have a U93 t-shirt? You're wearing biker spandex clothing? So if you see some goofy dude with a boombox on his back riding his bike, you should honk your horn and wave at him and say, "Oh, babe!"
Oh, but just make sure you don't ride too fast. I don't want you hydroplaning.
We'll check with you a little bit further down your journey.
Great ride.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one. Yeah.
For fun, there was a raffle. Local bike shops donated merchandise.
Questionnaire. Oh, this
PJ Thurker.
PJ? Is PJ here?
PJ!
Yeah, well, thanks. What do you want to draw for?
I don't care. You pick that.
Victor! Right here. Oh,
Never get lost again.
Quick ride.
Okay, you take care of that, and then what I was doing is just marking.
Paint the Town Coalition is circulating a petition to stripe bicycle lanes on city and county streets and roads.
So we have a petition for bike lanes, if you want to sign that too.
I was down here on my bike a couple of days ago, though. 3 sets of clothes and underwear.
That's it.
Oh. Yeah, and then plus they had the money.
Now there are like...
The coalition provided a mechanic to do bicycle inspections and minor maintenance tasks.
Wait a minute, since August. Since August. I don't have that neither. That's all kid,
There was lots of information and food for the commuters.
We're not. Yeah.
Oh, there.
I belong to the club, although I don't usually ride with the club, but I'm a commuter. Year-round.
Year-round, winter, spring,
Winter, spring, all year, yeah. So I go about 5,000 miles a year.
I've been commuting for 6.5 years.
You always lived in South Bend?
No, I grew up in Michigan.
So how long have you been commuting down here?
6.5 years, pretty much. Yeah, that's how long I've been in the area here.
I think you're a commuter, bike commuter.
Well, a couple days a week anyway. Yeah. Mine's real easy. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm right by St. Joseph's High School, so I get on the bike path and get on Colfax and head right downtown.
You're a bike commuter?
I am.
And how long's your commute?
It's only about 2 miles.
2 miles from where to where?
From, I live downtown and I work at Notre Dame.
My commute's 10 miles one way. I do it all year round. I have a cyclocross bike that I've been commuting for, I want to say about 5 years constantly. And I haven't had a car for I haven't had a car for 5 years now.
I decided about 20 years ago I was going to test my limits, because I used to think, well, if it's more than 2 miles I won't bike, or if it's dark, or if it's cold, or if it's rainy, or if I had to carry anything. And I started testing those limits, seeing how much I could carry, seeing how far I could go. And around South Bend, there's hardly any limits.
I've been biking around South Bend for 30, 40 years.
Usually I ride up on Riverside, although now there's construction, so I take Angela. But it's a nice short ride, hardly sweat at all.
I just, Martin and I go around on the trailer, and just whatever we need to do around town, we just tend to do on a bike, so.
I can bike to town, bike to the grocery store, to the drugstore, to the bank, out to Notre Dame, and I love getting on the bike and just going. I usually get to these places a lot faster than if you get in the car and start driving. And now I've noticed that the cars, there seems to be so many more cars around all the time, so biking seems to be the way to go. I wish more people would get out and bike.
Hi.
I take it you're a commuter.
I am a commuter. I bike every day, 365 a year.
How many years have you been doing it?
Ever since I was a kid, I just never stopped riding my bike. I've had cars, I've had motorcycles, but I always come back to the bike.
How long's your commute?
It's not long at all. It's probably about a 10 to 15 minute commute. I live downtown, South Bend, and I commute to IUSB.
Do you work at IUSB?
I do. I'm a professor.
Well, I'm the kind of likes to come downtown, so I'm not that 20-mile ride commuter. I'm let's ride downtown and have a cup of coffee.
It takes about 2 weeks for you to kind of acclimatize to it, and then you kind of feel like crap the first week, and I don't know how anybody does it. And then after you get past that second week, you're like, where did I get this energy? Oh yeah, I'm riding a lot more.
Bicycling is one of the best aerobic exercises there are. I believe is the best aerobic exercise.
Using it as a form of transportation, I think is more important than using it as a form of exercise. Because you do it every day, though.
Yeah.
And that becomes the basis. You're in shape for other things when you do that.
My first passion is downhill skiing, and I really do the biking all year to keep in shape for the skiing.
How long have you been commuting or bicycle? Let's say, how long have you been a bicycle rider?
Less than a month. I know. Well, I just moved here from Georgia 10 months ago, and the first thing I noticed about the Midwest was how flat it is. And so I thought, it's flat, and I think I could ride a bike.
Well, I'd like to encourage more women to bike. They don't seem to think they can get on a bike with a skirt, and you surely can get on a bike with a skirt and bike to work or bike to wherever you want to go. And it's just like this weather is not the ideal weather for biking, but if you buy a rain suit like I got on, or Gore-Tex like Jackie's got on, we're dry, we're fine, but just get the equipment. Doesn't cost that much. You're saving all on the gas. Look, gas $3 a gallon now, so you can go out and buy a rain suit or buy any kind of a Gore-Tex jacket you want.
I told them I wanted a decent bike that had a pretty good tire, was comfortable to ride, had gears, and they just pointed me to the hybrid. So I just took their word for it, basically.
And you're happy with it?
I'm very happy with it. This jacket lights up like a Christmas tree light. It's got this technology where if a headlight is reflecting onto it, it just glows. So that's pretty reflective. I've got a light when it's cloudy like today. I've got a rear light that's lighting up. I've got reflective belt on my pants. So I'm pretty cautious.
I have two bikes. I have one that's a Terry bike. It's a road bike. It's a Japanese-made bike for women under 5'2", and I think it's 16 or 18 gears, and I use that on the road. It's the skinny tires, and then to getting around town, I have a bike that is the bike I had as a child.
Oh, I have to see that.
It's right behind you there. So when you get a chance, you can take a picture of that bike. It's got baskets on it, front basket, two rear baskets, and a big, I put an exercise seat on it, so it's very, very comfortable.
I ride everywhere.
All year round?
Yeah. I just took the snow tires off my bike. You can actually get studded bike tires, seriously.
I've ridden as far as 10 below zero. That's a little cold.
Well, I'm an amateur triathlete, so I mean, that's a whole nother part of this lifestyle. This is more about bike commuting, but I am a kind of a closet athlete type. I'm a runner, and I just love it, especially when the weather's nicer. I go on the longer rides, you know.
I just moved here from New York, and I used to ride to work there, but the traffic got me, and I was glad to move back to the Midwest and not have to deal with all the traffic. To folks who live here, it probably feels like it's getting more crowded, but coming from New York, it's a piece of cake.
I commute every day that's above 35 degrees, and it's about a 12-mile round trip for me, unless I come downtown for some lunch, and then that's probably 2 or 3 more miles to my ride.
So you ride to work every day?
Yes.
And then you recreate on the weekends?
Generally, my family doesn't ride much with me, so I don't ride that much for recreation. I love riding, but I tend to do other things on the weekends, and since I'm able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I get my exercise and my commute in at the same time. Given that most of my commute is like neighborhoods and that kind of thing, my speed is not much slower than what traffic would be. It takes me 20 to 25 minutes to do the 6 miles from my home to work.
And if you drove a car, then how long?
It would be about 20 minutes because you've got traffic to contend with. Between the stops and the goes and the fact that you can get started faster and you just go at a more constant rate on a bicycle, I'm doing just as well.
We have to educate the cars, drivers and motorists and stuff. It'll never be safe until we do that.
Lincoln Way is not a good place for kids.
No.
But the whole thing is get the motorists aware that the cyclists are out there and know how to ride, a lot of education involved.
Yeah, that's what we need to do more of, is education. I was hoping that would be one of our goals.
Bicycles have the same rights as a car, period. It's a law. Go to LaPorte County and ride their rides. You don't get it. Go to Elkhart County. You don't get it. Cass and Marion County the same way. You'll have a few people that are aggressive, but like here, it's sad. That's my opinion, and I've heard it from a lot of people. You know, I have contact with 500 cyclists.
And everybody's got a story about...
A lot of people have stories about things being thrown at them, being forced off the road, being cut off, and then people will stop right in front of you. Treat a bicycle like you would a car, and we both would get along just fine.
This one guy goes by, we're just riding, a guy goes by in a pickup truck, and I don't notice anything, and then we get around to the bend by Pinhook, and he's standing in the middle of the road.
Standing in the middle of the road?
And he's screaming at us.
Why?
He's screaming at us.
What's he saying?
I was hit actually about 6 months after I started riding. I got a truck T-boned me, and I got a compound fracture in my right leg, and that set me back about 3 months, and then I got right back on the bike and kept on trucking. Got rid of my car like 4 months after that. So.
Remember that old movie Quicksilver?
Yes.
Kevin Bacon? So many people seem to think that that's a really romantic way to ride, by going in and out of traffic, and it's just plain dumb.
It's so dangerous.
It is. It is.
We saw this ride we were at this weekend in Ohio. We were waiting for the guys to come into the rest stop. People were opening doors without even looking, and the bikes were coming right along that road. You know, first thing you do is you're looking at rearview mirror.
if not for bicycles, at least for a car.
Do you ride the recumbent bike over there?
Yes, that's mine.
How do you feel about riding that? Feel safe in that?
Yes, I do. Height-wise, my seat, my head height is the same as a sedan car. In addition, I have various safety things. I've got lighting front and back. Regardless of how sunny it is, I always keep the back lights on. They're blinking red.
Okay.
I wear reflective gear. And I've got a rear view mirror, so I'm always very conscious of traffic around me. And I work on the old assumption that they don't see me, so I'm looking for them first.
I feel pretty safe. There's a couple of roads that you can feel the traffic a little bit more tense than others, and you just kind of, just ride defensively and take your part of the road and just be predictable, and you'll be all right.
We could have some better roads. We could have some bike lanes or shoulders. There's definitely need for some better facilities to make it easier for everyday folks to pick up their bikes and take them to work.
But they ride those things to work every day in Holland.
Yeah.
And bike lanes over there means little streets completely separated from the roads.
Little streets.
Yeah, I've
with little
seen
lights.
that. I've seen that.
It doesn't seem to me like it's a big, expensive project for the city to paint on the street and have these bike lanes. So I'm very much in favor of it.
Do you look forward to seeing stripes for bicycle lanes on the road?
Oh, yeah, I would love it. It would be nice. If not stripes for bicycle lanes, at least a decent shoulder that's about 3 foot, and at least have them sweep it for, every 2 months, or every 2 months at least, to keep the glass down so you don't have as many flats. And I think it would be awesome to just have bike lanes. Colorado does it, why not Indiana?
Anything you want people to know about bike commuting or painting the stripes on the streets?
Yeah, a couple things. When you ask people if they consider riding their bike, you often get two answers. One is, oh, it's not safe. And the other is, oh, I'm too far away from work to bike. And all I want to say is it is safer. It's actually, you're more likely to get hit or fall down or get in a problem off a road, like on a path or on a sidewalk or something. And with our big effort to push bicycle safety lanes, we're hoping to make the city a lot safer when you are on the streets. And then even things like people who feel they live too far to bike in, what a lot of people do in big cities like New York, Chicago, LA, is they'll put the bicycle in the car and drive to within a bike commuting distance of their work, and then leave the car in a safe place, and then they still get the fitness and the fun of biking at least part of the way to work.
In South Bend, you could dispense with the car park.
Exactly. It is not that big of a city. Even Transpo, the buses, all of them have bike racks on the front now. So you just throw the bike on the bus and ride part way, and you can bike the rest of the way.
We've been cycling for quite a few years, and we've been real passionate about getting bike lanes striped in the city, and for safety, that people could ride a lot safer. So when this coalition was started, we believed that was someplace that we could be. And we like it because we get things done. Once we set out a goal, we go out and the people are working very hard at it. We're realizing there's more people in the community that do like to cycle and would like a safer way of cycling. Not only in the city, but out in the county as well.
I was at the ride last year. GreenTV filmed it.
Yes.
You must have been there.
Yes, we were there. We actually led the ride. My husband and I led the ride. So, and we mapped it. We mapped out the ride so that we could go on paths and places that were already available. We also wanted to show where there were bad places to ride. There are some streets that really, really need some help. They are not safe for the cyclists.
I see a lot of people bicycling around town, but I don't see them here. So there must be different sets of commuters.
I think so. And I think there's, now we've had some people here this morning who really have been riding for years and years to work. You see them in the winter and you see them All year round. We've been to places, Chicago has an excellent system, and that's a very busy traffic place. New York is a very safe place. They have a lot of bike lanes. And then we've been out west, and people ride all the time. So, South Bend can do it.
Well, somebody commented they saw you on the way to work just a couple days ago on your bike.
Yeah.
Hey, Vaughn, come on.
Jeff, you're going to
She's
open
taking
your
pictures.
jacket or something? We're going to...
Yeah. Yellow jacket, well, and my sweater, I forgot to open.
That's right. Stay with the yellow.
Okay. So we got to squeeze in, they say. Squeeze in. Okay. Jerry, squeeze in. Is it on?
I can't believe it.
Here's a bird's eye view of the existing and proposed bike lanes and trails in South Bend. Let's look at the legend. Existing bike lanes are drawn red. Proposed bike lanes are marked green. Existing bike trails are orange, and proposed bike trails are marked purple. Please note the blue arrowhead pointing to the red line. The red line represents the only existing bike lane in South Bend. This bike lane is on Twickenham Drive and runs from McKinley Boulevard on the south to State Road 23 on the north, a little short of Edison Road. Alone, this bike lane goes from nowhere to nowhere and connects to nothing. However, if the city adds the proposed bike lanes and trails, colored green and purple, to the existing bike trails and the one bike lane, a grid of sorts emerges. With this proposed network of bike lanes and trails in place, it would be possible to navigate a large area of South Bend in relative safety on a bicycle. Let's look at the northwest side next. The northwest quadrant of South Bend presents significant auto traffic problems for bicycle commuters. There are few north-south thoroughfares. Except for Lincoln Way West and Portage Avenue north of the Elwood Shopping District, the streets are narrow and there are lots of stops. Auto and truck traffic on Lincoln Way West is too fast and dense for most bike riders. Auto traffic on Portage between Elwood and Lincoln Way is relatively heavy, and the street is narrow. However, if bike commuters can reach Riverside Drive or Colfax Avenue, they can connect to the rest of the city in safety. Again, the proposed bike lanes are green, and the proposed bike trails are purple. This is the southwest quadrant of South Bend. Proposed bike trails in Rum Village Park will connect the southwest side with a proposed north-south bike lane adjacent to US 3133. The north-south lanes connect to Colfax Avenue and the rest of the city. The proposed bike trails are purple and the proposed bike lane is green. The southeast quadrant is as good as it gets for bike lanes in South Bend. There are several major north, south, and east-west streets wide enough for bike lanes. Two major streets intersect on the southeast side, Colfax Avenue running east and west, and Twickenham Drive running north and south. An extensive bike trail follows the east side of the St. Joseph River from Angela Boulevard, adjacent to the University of Notre Dame on the north, to Indiana University at Twickenham Drive on the south. Much of this trail is in the southeast quadrant. The northeast quadrant of the city is also well suited for bike lanes. The only two existing bike trails in the city are in the northeast quadrant and connect to major north-south and east-west streets. Of all the streets in the city, the two most important for bike lanes are Colfax Avenue and Twickenham Drive. Each street provides the longest continuous bike lane possible on each major directional axis in the city. Colfax Avenue from east to west and Twickenham Drive from north to south. Linking these two streets with bike lanes creates the longest possible bike commuter route in South Bend, with the exception of Lincoln Way East and West. The traffic on Lincoln Way is difficult to contend with. Colfax and Twickenham are more manageable on a bicycle.
Just press that down. Okay.
That's right.
Well, we got a lot of support from businesses, and the number one thing that we got was when we go to, we would get discount coupons. get a free cup of coffee, higher grounds. The one thing we kept getting from Fiddler's Hearth and other places was, we want bike racks in front of our store. He said it's going to get 7, but he said, you know, we really want bike racks right in front of our store.
Now, can they, if they want to, because we have people we talk to, they would purchase the bike rack. But I
Probably what we should do is just get a standardized design, and yeah, I don't see any reason why not. That'd make a lot of sense.
They said, well, you know, the city has to kind of tell us what we can and can't do. So that's, I think, what they were saying too, is they need to really work with the city.
Getting maybe even a couple of designs that people could choose from, and then just establish a simple procedure that people just come in and make application and run through the board.
Mayor Leckie was here just a few minutes ago, and he told our bike committee that it looks like this summer they're going to begin to stripe bike lanes. And we are really excited. He's talking about Colfax and Twickenham as our group had proposed, so that's great news.